الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. So inshallah we try to cover the basic fiqh of Hajj. Fifth pillar of Islam, and it means to intend a journey. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it obligatory for people who have the means to do so. The means include financial means, plus your physical ability, plus the path is clear, you can go there, there's no restriction, or when COVID happened and it was all blocked. So obviously in those days it was fine for people not to do that. They were absolved from that responsibility. So the path must be clear, the way should be clear, and they should have enough means to look after their family, someone looking after them, when they're not there. So they have to have all of those. For women, one extra thing is they should have a mahram, a blood relative or husband to take them for the Hajj, or anyone who they have the relationship of hurma. And Rasulullah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. That this is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon people, that if they have the means to do so, they must perform Hajj. If they didn't, Allah said, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ. It is as though they have rejected this right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The word kufr is being used here. Obviously, it also means to show the ungratefulness or ingratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the favor that Allah has given financially. So it is extremely important that we allow for that, inshallah ta'ala. So those who have the means to do so, they must perform their Hajj ASAP. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "O people, قَدْ فُرِضَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْحَجِّ." The Hajj has been made obligatory. فَحُجُّوا. So perform Hajj. Now one can delay it as long as they have done it before they die. They're not sinful. There's difference of opinion whether you have to do immediately as you become Sahib al-Nisab, as you have the means to do so. Imam Shafi'i said yes, and Imam Abu Hanifa said you can delay it. If you did it before you die, you're absolved. Imam Shafi'i would say that you'll be sinful if you didn't do it immediately. You have to do it the first time it becomes obligatory. So it is a collective obligation, collective ibadah, worship, and it is more physical plus financial, both. Most ibadat are either physical, which is fasting or prayer, or zakat, which is monetary. It's combining both, and it is a reminder for Arafah. So the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed himself. We heard Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we perhaps saw him as well when we were in our prototype. So before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Adam al-Islam to the heaven, he created him, and from his loin brought forth everyone to be born until the end of time, all mankind. And he asked them, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And we all said yes. Qalu, people said, Bala, shahidna, we testify to it. So that we do not say on the day of judgment, we didn't know. So immediately as someone dies, they would know the reality. You wouldn't need to convince anyone who rejected Allah. See, now you know, the veil is lifted of ghaib. We all clear to everyone because we knew we were here. So there's one opinion is where we were, like we were all raised or brought forth was in the Arafat, in that plain of Arafat. That is why Al-Hajj Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. I mean, that is the ultimate day of Hajj. That's the most important part of the Hajj. And if that's the case, then one has to be there. And you look at Arafah Day, and you'll be amazed to find out what do we do there. We'll come to that in a minute. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which goes like this: if someone has performed Hajj Mabrur, all their previous sins are forgiven. They are as though they have been born on that day. Some narration would suggest that there's no compensation, no reward for that except Jannah. Meaning just performing Hajj Mabrur. Mabrur Hajj is, what is Hajj Mabrur? A Hajj which brings about change in your life. Which brings about change in your life for good. Afterlife is better than the one before Hajj. Likewise, Imam Hassan al-Basri rahmatullah alayhi, he would say the Hajj that would detach you from dunya, detach you from materialism, and you go towards akhirah. You feel more towards the life hereafter. the spirituality. And again, another meaning of Hajj Mabrur, the one with goodness, with all the khair, all the goodness in it, all the virtuous deed in it, meaning no sins committed. And the three types of Hajj: Hajj Ifrad, singular, just Hajj on its own without any Umrah attached to it. Hajj Qiran, where there's Umrah but within the Hajj. And there is Tamattu, where you do Umrah, break, and go back to Ihram again the second time for Hajj. There's a gap there. Hajj Ifrad is only for people who live in Makkah, so for them, like local people. For the foreigners, us, who Afaqi, the people coming from abroad, they have to do either Qiran or Tamattu. Qiran is more difficult because you've got same ihram and you've got ihram of Umrah and Hajj together. So the penalty for each mistake would be double because you violated two ihrams. So you're in two ihram, Hajj and Umrah together. And it's longer. The longer you are, the more chances that you will commit some sort of mistake. That's why it is considered preferred. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did this. Few of the Sahaba did it. Majority of Sahaba performed tamattu because there was ease in it, and this was just given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ummah. So tamattu, where you perform Umrah, come out of Ihram, and the Hajj day starts, which is 8th of Dhul Hijjah, Yawm al-Tarwiyah, then you come back in Ihram again. So that gives you a bit of a respite in between, a little bit of practice, a little bit of like, getting used to a new system. It's very, very hot weather. Normally it's quite crowded. And in a new environment, many people coughing and cold. So we are so weak physically, everyone gets cough. To the point that it is now recognized as Haji cough. In the literature, in medical literature, it's called Haji cough or Hajj cough. Hajj cough or Haji cough. It's recognized now because you just get so many people, mixed up viruses, some sort of allergy, straight hot weather or whatever, and it becomes a new, and it takes a long time to get out of the way. What are the faraid of Hajj, the essential integral parts of Hajj? Number one, Ihram, Wuquf Arafah, coming in the state of, spending time, meaning being stationary or stationed in Arafah, means spending time there. And Tawaf Ziyarah is also called Tawaf Ifada. These are the names. So those are the three faraid of Hajj, Rukn, Arkan. And there are many wajibat. And for fard, there's no alternative. For wajibat, there is. You can compensate by something. Sa'i is one of those. Sa'i is running between Safa and Marwa. Wuquf in Muzdalifah, spending time in Muzdalifah, another plane. And we'll cover all of that in a minute. And then Rami al-Jimar, so, stoning, throwing the pebbles to the columns. And then Tawaf Qudum, for the person who is performing Qiran Hajj, combined Hajj, they have to do Tawaf Qudum. It's called Afaqi. Afaqi are the foreigners, the people who come from abroad, not the local people. Tawaf Wada, this is N Tawaf. So it's Sunnah for Mutamatti, like in Tamattu. So Qiran, it is wajib, the first one. Tawaf Wada, wajib for everyone. This is the end of farewell Tawaf that one has to do. Again, for Afaqi, local people, they're not going anywhere. They're living there, so they don't have to do that. Then Halq and Qasr. Halq means to shave, Qasr means to shorten. You have to do either. And then Qurbani, or we can call it Dam Shukr. Dam in Arabic means blood. Shukr, to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Qarin means the one doing Quran or Tamattu, both Hajj, any type of Hajj that we can perform. We have to do a slaughter. We have to sacrifice an animal. That's different to the Eid slaughter. Eid slaughtering is different. And Dam Ta'khir in Muzdalifah. In Muzdalifah, you have to do Jamu Ta'khir, meaning combining Maghrib and Isha, praying Maghrib at Isha time, delaying your Maghrib. And then you have to order. This is Hanafi view that you have to keep the order of these three actions on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, which is Rami, Dam Shukr, and Halq and Qasr. So if you remember it like in pass, you have to pass that. To pass that, so you have to do it like this. So first pelting, then animal slaughter, then shaving or shortening. So you have to do in that order. If the order is changed, then your Hajj wajib is being missed, and you'll be penalized for that by slaughtering extra as a penalty. Okay, done. Let's go for Hajj Tamattu. Qiran, you don't need to know because people do not do that. Yeah. So you have to do So most people would perform Hajj Tamattu. So let's stick to Hajj Tamattu, inshallah ta'ala. Tamattu, again, you remember there's Umrah there, and then there is Hajj. You do Umrah first, and there's a break. You come out of Ihram, and then you go back in Ihram, and then you do your Hajj. Okay. So what is Umrah? So let's go quickly over Umrah. Umrah, to visit a populated place. Again, this is a Sharia term whereby you go and perform the circumambulation, which is Tawaf or Kaaba, 7 rounds, and Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. And then you just shave your hair. Once you're in the state of Ihram, you come out of Ihram after shaving or trimming your hair. That's called Hajjul Asghar. And in comparison, there's Hajj Akbar. So Hajjul Akbar is the main Hajj. Some people get confused. They think Hajj Akbar is the Hajj, or Akbari Hajj is the Hajj that is done on Friday. Oh, that's a very special Hajj. Although there's merit of Hajj Akbar, which is any Hajj is called Hajj Akbar, compared to Hajj Asghar, which is Umrah. There's merit of having Hajj on Friday because Rasulullah only performed one Hajj in his lifetime after Islam advent, and that was on a Friday. It's a special day for that. And Friday is a special day anyway. So if Arafah falls on that day, that's a special day, no doubt. But that is not Hajj Akbar in that sense because it fell on Friday. So any Hajj is Hajj Akbar, okay, compared to Hajj Asghar. So Umrah has 4 components. Easy. Ihram. Ihram is to make things haram. How do you make things haram? As you do in prayer. What do you do? Tahreem means to make things haram. So you do the tahreem. What do you do? Say Allahu Akbar in your prayer, lifting your hands, and throwing as if metaphorically, ma'nawiyan, meaning-wise, you're throwing things away from you. Meaning everything is behind me now. My family, my children, my parents, my job, my work, all my aspirations, ideas, thoughts, whatever it is, out. My food, no talking, nothing. I'm making everything haram, everything behind me. I'm just in front of it. That is why you say, Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati. I focus myself, I direct my face towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created the heavens and the earth. Meaning you're actually throwing everything behind, making the halal things haram. Turning was halal, you make it haram. Talking, eating, drink, movement, everything becomes unnecessary movement, which is not part of prayer. So you make it haram because you are doing that. You're coming in that state. Likewise, for Umrah, you make, or Hajj, same way. You come in the state of Ihram, whereby you make many things which were halal, haram. For example, covering the head. It's sunnah to cover your head for prayer. You can't do that in Ihram. Stitched clothes, you can't wear those. You have to be in unstitched clothes. Likewise, you should not be using any perfume stuff on the clothes or on the body. You can't do hunting there. You can't have any altercation, argument, which you shouldn't be having anyway, but it will become a major problem if you did that in Haram. If you just, cause your Hajj to be less good, so to say, if it doesn't violate completely. Likewise, husband and wife having any relationship, even talks about, sexual nature, anything like that is not permissible. Even touching with that intention, you will violate your Hajj. So Ihram is that state where you make certain thing halal into haram. Well, Allah made it, you accept that. And you said, this is my intention. I am now coming in this state. Now, people would call Ihram. What do we call Ihram? The Ihram for us is those safed chadare. Do chadare pehni huyi, white sheet. We consider that to be Ihram. That's not Ihram. That's clothes of Ihram. Why? Because in Ihram, you're not allowed to have any stitched clothes. Any clothes, any piece of cloth, which is sewn in body shape and worn in the body shape is not allowed. If you have full definition, then it would never confuse you. Oh, what about the belt? There was a stitch on that belt. Can I wear it? Yes, you can, because it is not sewn in the body shape. This is long thin. Belt is long thin. So you can wear it. That is why your cardigan, your shawl, your sheet, you just take it, your jubba, and you're feeling cold, you can wrap on your body, no problem. Because you have this sewn in the body shape, but not worn in the body shape. So all condition must be there. It must be sewn in the body shape, and it must be worn in the body shape while in the state of Ihram. So somebody just asked yesterday, oh, I've done my Umrah, I've come out of it, can I wear my normal clothes? Yes, obviously, you're going to be without clothes. Yes, you are out of Ihram. You're just in the state of Ihram, you're not allowed. Other than that, you must be Ihram. Okay, so second is Tawaf. So coming in the state of Ihram, we'll talk about that in a minute. You must be in the state of ihram to have your umrah done or the hajj done. Tawaf, you have to do circumambulation, 7 circuits, and sa'i, running between Safa and Marwa, and finally halq al-qasr, which is shaving or trimming. Keep that in mind because that's the order. Things become haram. So how do you do it? The best way is that you take a ghusl. You do ghusl. Remove all the extra hairs, trim your nails, keep yourself nice and clean. And a night before that, if you're married, or day before that, or minute before that, up to you. Whatever time you want to take that shower. If you have a wife, then have a relationship with her. The sexual relationship with your wife, with your husband, that before Hajj, so that you are free from any sexual thoughts that might come in Hajj. To be there for maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and obviously in between you have chance. After Umrah, you can go back to your wife, or after Hajj. But during those 5-7 days, some people might be in this idea. They can't, newly married couple, for example. So they might be very much like, hyper driven. Their honeymoon period. So that will be difficult for them. So that is why they must fulfill that requirement so that their focus is on the ibadah. So it's sunnah mu'akkada to do a ghusl. And then you perfume your body if you could, only for men, if they could rub the perfume on their body with the condition that it doesn't then leak. It doesn't get transmitted to the clothing. So many a time you start sweating and it starts falling off your body onto the clothes. So don't do it if you're not sure. But it's sunnah to do that. And then you wrap 2 sheets before coming in the state of ihram. The reason you come in for men, for women, normal clothing. For women, ihram is only that their face is uncovered. That's it. All the rest is the same. Whatever they're wearing, that's their ihram. There's no special cloth for that. There's no special cloth for men either. Actually, ihram, you just remove all the clothes. You're not in the state of, if you're in the state of ihram, but you can't walk out in that state. That's why, because there's another obligation which prohibits you from going out naked. That's why you have to wrap something which is unstitched. Unstitched doesn't mean that there's no stitch in it. It could be all made of a stitch, no problem. Sheet could have 5,000 stitches, no problem. It's not about stitch. It is that it is not stitched. It is not sewn in body shape. The sheets are not sewn in body shape. So that's why trouser is not allowed. Pajama is not allowed. Shalwar is not allowed. But this is allowed. Now people also ask, can we do a line just to make it together? Yeah, again, this is not in body shape. You're making it so that it is easy to hold. You can do it. But why do you have to? Can you do without that? So izar is to cover the lower garment, the lower part of the body, the garment that covers the lower part of the body, and top part is covered by the rida shawl. You do this before you come in the state of ihram, because if you didn't, immediately while you've proclaimed that niyyah, intention of being in the state of ihram, and you said talbiyah after that, you are in the state of ihram, it would take a couple of minutes, 30 seconds, whatever, you have violated during that time while you're taking your clothes off, if you did it afterwards. That's why you come in that, remove all the clothes, and then wear those sheets, and then have the intention. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would wear those sheets, ideally white, because that's preferred, and everyone is doing, while you want to be unique in the modern time. Even if you did any other color, that'd be show off. It's more likely that you'll be show off. I'm unique in a different one. So don't do that. Don't do that. And they're not very expensive anyway. If you're going to perform Hajj, you can definitely afford that. And normally it's a part of the package that, the bits that they provide, the Hajj company. So don't try to be, very much unusual and unique and whatever. And then once you had it wrapped up, you cover your head with the top garment to confirm, to show the people that I am not in the state of ihram yet. Otherwise, you can't cover your head with the sheet. And then you pray 2 rakat. You can do that in your home. You can do it at hotel. You can do whatever you want to do. That is before you come in the state of ihram. So the best advice generally is you do a ghusl at home, clean everything, do whatever, initial bits, and leave. Because more likely than not that you'll be having a transit somewhere. And you do not know what would happen. Accidents can happen. Flights could be delayed. So you just go to that place, for example, from here to Doha, if you're in or Qatar, or if you're in different flights, you like in Turkey, wherever it is. So you station there for the transit, 3-4 hours later, get yourself ready there. You can do another ghusl if you get a chance, 3-4 hours, another ghusl there. But you already have done it. You don't have to do. If you feel sweaty, you get chance enough, not enough queue and plenty of time. Alhamdulillah, you're not delayed. You got 3-4 hours. Why not take another ghusl? That would be your ghusl for the mustahab ghusl or sunnah ghusl for the ihram. And then you 2 rakat offer that. Now intention. Intention is when you say Allahumma labbaika umrah. You said it, and then you said labbaik Allahumma labbaik the talbiyah. You are in the state of ihram. Restrictions started. So don't do that until you have already been in plane, until you know that the plane has taken off, and you are really. So if you are planning to sleep in the plane, the next 2-3 hours, I want to take some nap. That's fine. Make the intention and sleep. It happened with one of our, friends who, when you take the groups. And I told it very clearly in the talk before that and on the day and announcing it. And he decided I would do really at the last minute when they announced that we were about half an hour. And he slept, and he slept for I don't know how long. We were waking everyone up. Somehow he got covered whatever he was doing because he wanted to cover his face to sleep. And he wasn't woken up. People tried, but he wouldn't. So the people just left him. I wasn't made aware of that until quite late. He's already gone past that. So the problem, isn't it? So don't do that. Don't try to be smart. When you're told to do something by a group leader, just do it. Or make sure that you wake me up. You're responsible. Please do wake me up. Or if you're sleeping, do wake me up or make someone else responsible so that I do not miss out on this. So intention when the plane has landed, inshallah, the chances are you'll be fine.
So you have to be in the state of ihram before miqat.
Before miqat. The miqat, but they will normally announce it. All the flights would have this announcement, even if they're whatever. Doesn't have to be Muslim countries flight. Still announce it. That's part of their. They know they're going for Umrah. People going or Hajj during this time. So then you have labbaik Allahumma umrah, or you just say the longer one, Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. The words to the effect. These are found in small booklets. Keep it with you and just read it. And then you say your talbiyah. Once is fard, saying thrice is sunnah, and frequenting it. That's the dhikr. Carry on until you come to haram, start your tawaf. Before that, you carry on. And recite as much as possible. That is your talbiyah. That is your remember. So the more the better. And do not disturb others while they're doing it. Going up, down, right, left, any turning, any up and down. Say as much as possible. What are the restrictions? So Quran mentioned these 3 things and hunting in a separate ayah. Al-Hajj Ashrum Ma'lumat. Hajj, the months of Hajj are known. What are these? Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and well, actually start from Shawwal, but Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah are the months of Hajj, starting from Dhul Qa'dah, Shawwal, after Eid. So Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah. And so when this happened, whoever performing their Hajj, Fala Rafath, there's no Rafath. Rafath is profane, immodest talk between husband and wife talk, sexual talk of anything with anyone, and obviously even between conjugal relationship. All of that is included in this Rafath. Fala Rafath, wala fusuqa, no extra disobedience, disobeying Allah and Rasulullah in any form or fashion. Jidal, altercation, arguing, this and not at all. And hunting in another ayat, it has been made impermissible. So no hunting there. Hairs and nails you can't cut or trim. Some people have this habit of biting on this and chewing on it. Try avoid that as much as possible. Accidentally something happened, a small bit, the skin tags, we all have a little bit here and there, especially in the winter season. People have this habit of pulling it. Don't do that. Stay away. Okay. If that small one done once or twice, there will still be a sadaqah penalty, but not a major dump that would take longer. We come to Jinayat to clarify. Using any perfumed stuff, even soap, even oil, nothing is permissible. You can't do that. They're all restricted. You can't cover your head. For men, can't cover their head. Any body parts, body-shaped, sewn clothes are impermissible, including gloves or the topi or gear. Women that are not allowed to cover their face directly with some piece of cloth, although they must cover their face, which is, according to a vast majority, and also the understanding of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they should be covering their face. Although there's difference of opinions, some minority views that you don't have to, it's not obligatory, even in normal life. So that's difference of opinion based on that, whatever. But Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, she would say that when men would come, we would just turn our face and cover our face by the sides. So this sheet, we just cover it like this, as opposed to showing their face. We wouldn't touch our faces with a piece of cloth. And when Aisha says so, radiallahu anha, who else do you want to confirm or not confirm? Inshallah ta'ala, the best way and the safest way view. Umbrellas, okay. You can wrap your head. If you're feeling cold, you can wrap something. Your own shirt, trousers, whatever you have, you can wrap on sheet, no problem. Blanket, she shows okay, your sandals. Provided the top bone is called calcaneal bone, that's, if you put a finger on your big toe and keep making it forward, go back towards your shin. So the highest part, this bone, the top part, the peak there, that is the bone that needs to be uncovered. That must not be covered at all by men, obviously.
For men?
For men. And the rest can be. But there's certain other imams who consider heel and, the both ankles, medial and lateral malleolus, both malleoli, these must be uncovered as well. It's better to wear something that covers all of that. Like, doesn't cover any of that. Fulfill all those imam differences and their restrictions. So normally a flip-flop is fantastic, or the normal what you call sandals with a strap that covers just toes, but not the middle part. So although you would have a strap at the center as well, put that strap the way I do is I keep that strap underneath. Don't cut it to spoil it. Just put it under the toe, like under your feet, the other side, cover it. And the back side is covered as well, so it's fine, it doesn't move. Or you can have it, the one that covers the front, or maybe just quite the ankle only here, the tight here, and doesn't cover that top bone. Watches are fine. You can take shower. There's another very strange question people have. When I go to toilet, can I take my ihram off? They think if I take my ihram off, this shirt, piece of cloth, I'm out of ihram. No. This is the state. You should be very clear on that. It's not about, you can be taking it off and walking wherever. You could walk, provided people can't see you. In your own room, just walk naked. Go to it's not the best thing to do. It is discouraged, even in your own home, other than haram, like now, to sleep naked or to be naked, it is not part of sunnah. It is actually discouraged. It's a dislike thing. Even between the husband and wife relationship, you shouldn't be uncovering yourself. Can uncover, but should have shown or blanket on you. It's not the sunnah way. It's actually quite anti-sunnah action. Would perhaps bring you closer to the not getting shafa'a from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is the part, the way of people who do not believe in Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a part of non-Muslims' way. Muslims' way is not to be naked like that. So likewise there. But if one has to go to toilet, I would normally suggest you could take both of them off, hang them, and then go to the toilet. And then because normally they have the shower at the top. It's very hot. Get a nice quick shower while you're answering the call of later, after you've done it. And then quick shower, then wrap it again. They'll be fine. So that would give you, because taking extra shower, going long queue several times, it's not easy. Save some time. If during your shower accidentally some hair follicles fell off, no problem. Not a problem. Accidentally. But you're doing it, pulling it. Some people have this idea of pulling their beard here. That would violate. Miqat, we have to be in the state. So miqat is, you could see, if it's not according to how you would feel it's not equidistance. So Makkah is here, so quite a long distance is Al-Hulayfa, you see, quite close by in the different areas. So you don't need to worry about that. Is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taught by Sayyidina Jibreel and before him. So all the borders have been done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala physically told them, this is the border, this is the border. So whatever is miqat, the area of for us it will be Medina. Well, not just Medina. There's a place called Dhul Hulayfa, and new name for that is Abiyari Ali. Abiyari Ali. So the Abiyari Ali. Yeah. So that is the place which for people coming from north is the miqat. Even from Medina, obviously people normally wear their ihram in Medina in their hotel, and then they come to this place, and there's a nice place there they can go and offer you prayers and have intention. But this is where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the intention that in Dhul Hulayfa. Dhul Hulayfa up top. Because this is north, isn't it? So yes. So the top. So yeah. Dhul Hulayfa, and that's where it is. So up north is up. And down south from Pakistan, Jalamlam, we normally have Jalamlam. The people coming from Iraq and other places. Well, for us, this is now. Rasulullah obviously came from Medina, so that was his miqat here. This is what he did, everything, you know. So Talbiyah, we already mentioned, once it's fard, second, third time, it's sunnah, say loud for men, and no talking, no greeting, and try to keep saying Talbiyah, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, until you started your tawaf. When you start your tawaf, then no more Talbiyah. That Talbiyah is finished for Umrah. Tawaf, you start off with the intentions. You should have in your mind the intention. You can say that in Arabic and English, but you should have in your mind that I am performing tawaf, and the tawaf must start with the Hajar Aswad. So there is imaginary. You can imagine that line all the way if you look to the right, because you won't be able to see Hajar Aswad. So many people, there's crowded. You can see to the right, up top at each level, there's a green light, green long light. I will show you in the picture. That long light, that light, tube light, that imaginary line towards this wall of Kaaba. So if you look at the square, any square, so the downside, so this is square here, so this corner. I hope that you understand the orientation. So if this is the square, this is the square which says Tawaf, which direction would you call it? This is up north, south, east, west. That's standard everywhere. So this one would be Hajar Aswad here. This one would be from Iraqi corner. This is Shami corner. And this is Yemeni corner. And this is where Hajar Aswad is. And here is the gate of Kaaba. And Maqam Ibrahim is here. And Hatim, which is a hijab, semicircular wall, is here. Hatim is called. You go out of this and then you perform tawaf like this here. So you start off with the black stone. I will show you a picture. So the black stone is sitting there at this corner. And a green light up here would show you where to start. You need to know those landmarks. I will show you in a minute. 7 circuits, so 7 rounds. You start off with start off with this istilam. So you have the intention, you say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Ideally, kiss the black stone, but obviously it's difficult with the traffic and rush and the izdiham there. If you can't do that, you can just touch it, or if you can't kiss it, touch it. You can't touch it further back, just point towards it with your hand. If you have a stick, you can touch it with a stick and then kiss that stick, like a staff of some sort. All of those are permissible. So istilam is done. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. You kiss your hand and then you start walking towards, around the Kaaba, but against the time, like counterclockwise. The left side is towards Kaaba. So you're going counterclockwise. And there's two reasons, two good reasons. One is that your heart should be towards Kaaba, as opposed to if you go the other way, the heart would be away. Second is times. The time, everyone is walking this way. World is going this way. I'm going against it. So world is going to materialism. I'm going towards Allah. Inni dhahibun ila rabbi. I'm going towards my Lord, against the tide, against the time. Don't follow what world say, what people say, what the materialistic people say. 7 circles and 8 istilams. So you just start off with Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Alhamd, kissing your hand, and then completing at the end you do the same thing. So 8 times you say it, and in between there will be 7 circles completed. In this, the one that you're performing as Umrah,
every time you come to the green light,
you have to say Bismillah, Allahu wa lillahi alhamd, and kiss. Exactly. Turn. So walking this way, straight ahead, turn towards it. Bismillah, Allahu wa lillahi alhamd. Stop there. Bismillah, Allahu wa lillahi alhamd. Kiss your hand and start walking again. There's no dua that you have to recite. This one sunnah dua, which I tell in a minute. You shouldn't be looking at Kaaba, although you can look at Kaaba when you're not performing tawaf and not performing prayer. So just by sitting there and relaxing, just turn towards Kaaba and keep looking at that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned the 120 barakah, blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is enough. 120 being showered on Kaaba all the time, every second, every minute. 60 for those who perform tawaf, 40 for those who perform prayer in and around Kaaba, inside, around this place, and 20 for those who look at Kaaba. If you're not doing anything and you go to sleep, you just sleep. So I suggest, maybe if you have a time and in like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour for read your Quran and sit at the corner where you could see this is my personal way. So I would try to sit at any corner where at least two walls are in front of me. I'm looking at more of Kaaba, as opposed to sitting here where I can only see this wall, sides are barred from me. You understand that? So sitting at this angle or that corner or that corner, just one of those love things. You do just for the sake of your own emotion. Nothing sunnah-wise.
now you're doing tawaf, you don't look at Kaaba.
No. Because now you're connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like being in the presence of the king and you're looking at the things around it. That's disrespectful. You are in front of your Lord. Stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So not looking around. You could look at what Sheikh is doing. So in the code of king, we are busy doing something else. And as I mentioned, subhanallah, I heard it, but then I saw it with my own eyes. So this man, well, there was a woman actually another time. So elderly, sitting on the chair, and someone is taking the picture. So he made it like this, as if he is making dua. And he took the picture, the son, whoever that young man was, and showed him, said, get me Quran. So then the son got the Quran, and he opened the Quran as if he's reading Quran. And then he took the picture. Yeah, that one looks better. And for the woman, she took the tasbih out, and that was doing tasbih like that. Not looking at camera, showing that I am actually doing it. Behind is Kaaba, and you're sitting on the chair. In the house of Allah, you can't stop dodging people. Are you doing Quran recitation? Are you making dua? You're doing nothing, only for picture for Facebook, for people to show I'm very pious. See, I'm in the house of Allah, just to show, get more. There should be no surprise that we have been beaten up the way we are beaten up. जूते पड़ रहे चारों तरफ से तड़ातड़ यही होना चाहिए और क्या होना चाहिए कि वहां जाके भी गड़बड़े नहीं Allah is
the condition of the heart when doing the tawaf? What should
that is the thing. So when you are there in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me to be in his court, where imagine that's the closest we can come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to the mercy and blessings. Allah is allowing us to be in that place where that much blessing is happening, angels, all the nur and barakah are there. And yet, in the presence, and when we come to sajda, we're the closest, in haram, around that place, if you get a chance to be in hatim, you feel that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that proximity that no one else could be. Even angel Jibril couldn't reach that state. So from now on, it's you. I can't even, if I move even by an inch, it would just cause my wings to be burnt. I would just burn them. I won't be able to go any further. So that's the tajalliyah, that's such that only you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could go. So he had this height, and our height is this. What did he do? Quran says, مَا زَاغَ الْبَصَرُ وَمَا طَغَى. He wouldn't move. His heart was connected. It didn't reject anything with it. He would, so to the point that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can imagine how much nur there would have been that he's seen, whatever beauty is that he's seen. But you know what? He didn't even move or blink his eyes to just focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's presence was his goal. And we go there, we can't keep our concentration on tawaf for a few minutes. Our focus is, jaldi se niklo, quick, run here, they're cutting here, cutting there, subhanallah. Short, jaldi nikal, धक्का इसको दिया उधर से निकले मैं तो हजर असवद को बोसा दे के आया हूं. I'm just boasting about that to people, saying that what I have done. और उसके बाद अपनी तस्किया के और अपनी वलीउल्लाह होने के दावे दुनिया झाके, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं चला, अचानक से बस वैसा आसानी से होगा, किसी को धक्का ही नहीं दिया मैंने. माशाल्लाह ये उड़ा के लेके गए थे, बीच में से पता नहीं कहां से निकल गए. कहानियां सुनानी होती है ना दुनिया को, जरा वाह भी तो होगी. विलायत तो आपकी इसी से साबित होगी ना कि ताकि अगले अगले हदी आपको मिलने लगे, गले में 2 4 चेन डाल लो, अपनी अपनी खबरों किसी के बैठ जाओ, कुत्ता दबा के बैठ जाओ, सारी दुनिया के आपके आगे झुकी रही.
One of the things that distracts I've noticed when they once is that looking at other people, what other people are doing,
Exactly.
and thinking, oh, he's doing this wrong, he's doing this wrong. You waste your time
Exactly.
and looking at other people and in your head criticizing them.
Why they're doing this hot weather? Who is this?
Someone not criticizing you.
Exactly. I mean, because even in that divine presence, you cannot be concentrating on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ihsan, the beauty in religion is that you worship Allah as though you are seeing Him. If that can't happen to you, then at least have this, cognizance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is observing. You can't even do that in haram, in the state of ihram. When else do you think you will be able to do that? So that is our problem.
It's just like remembering blessings of Allah.
Exactly. Thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thinking that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at me. Allah must be very happy with me. I'm trying my best. Inshallah ta'ala, I will just come out of this. This is my last chance. I might not be able to come back again. I need to purify myself. I must return back as though I'm just being born. So all of those are my goal. The goal has to be that I want to change my life. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would I be able to do it? Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how sinful I am. Am I worthy of being in your presence? You have just given me this opportunity. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have you given me this opportunity to make me get better? Or is it that I'm so bad and poor that you want me to come here and commit sin and be bad so that I'm doomed to hellfire forever? That's a possibility as well. Sometimes you're given this in order to make it a testful. So Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, am I being tested like this? Will I lose my faith even I perform this hajj? Don't want to do that, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as they say, go there with a lot of shauq. तो तरसते हुए जाओ, तड़पते हुए वहां रहो, लरसते हुए वहां रहो, और जब वहां से वापस आओ तो फिर तरसती निगाहों से ताकि दोबारा चांस मिलेगा. तो आदमी खुद से अपने आप को एग्जैक्टली इतना फियर होना चाहिए. There was a sheikh who passed away a long time ago. I think the Noor Misri perhaps or someone else, he had a dream in Hajj. There were 100,000 people perform Hajj that year. That's about like a few hundred years back. So he was sleeping, Hajj completed. In Mina days, he was sleeping in Haram, in Mina, in the tent. He saw 2 angels talking. He asked, they're talking to each other, how many people perform Hajj this year? Another one responded, 100,000 people. So, and how many got their Hajj accepted? Is the only one. He just woke up and the Shaykh was like completely shocked. That many people, only one person got his Hajj. He started crying, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it must be because of my sin. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm the most manhus person on the face of earth. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's because of my sin that Hajj is getting not accepted. Not thinking that they are bad, rather thinking that I am the worst person. I am the source of them having not accepted their Hajj. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me. And he continued to cry whole night. And then he slept. That next day, throughout the day, this was his practice. And he was completely upset. And he made dua. And he saw the same 2 angels talking again. So he said, how many people performed Hajj? 100,000. How many got their Hajj accepted? He said, only one. He said, is that it? He said, yeah, with that one person, Allah accepted everyone else's Hajj. Because of his du'as, Allah has accepted everyone else's. Meaning he was the only one whose Hajj was accepted. But he was the most concerned person about it. You imagine you're one in 100,000 people, and it doesn't make you feel that way because you're humble. You know that I'm not worthy, and you are the only one concerned about making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And others having fun, food, this are coming and they would just come and talk about all the fancy food that they had. Oh, we had this and we had that. Inna lillah. Allah tawfiq ata farmaye. The takbir, kissing the black stone is good, but we don't advocate that. For one, you would be pushing and pulling people. Number two, there's a lot of issues with regards to perfuming those things. You might end up having perfume on your lips or on your hand, so don't go there. Do it in your nafil tawaf, where perfume is perfectly fine in normal clothes. So now is Rukn Yamani. There's that corner here. So Hajar Aswad, we mentioned that this is Hajar Aswad corner, yes. So this is southeast corner. Southwest corner is Rukn Yamani here. You could see that these few, that white, the gray stones. Whereas for Hajar Aswad, black stone, you can do a distant taqbil or distant istilam. You can just do the istilam, Bismillah, and kiss your hand from distance. You can't do that with Rukn Yamani. It has to be only physical touch. If you could do that, that's full of barakah. But no, people do the same far away shaking as they do with the Hajar Aswad. Same here. White. It was white, piece of rock from Jannah. It started sucking the thing. They would recognize on the day of Jannah. Tell who came to me. So this is amazing. They don't tell even. Even no, because you yes, even from distance, if you didn't recognize you, inshallah, we would have a witness and then to go to Jannah, inshallah, with that. And no specific dua, as I said, but other than a dua that after Rukn Yamani, when you come towards Hajar Aswad, so from southwest to southeast corner here, from here to here, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. That is sunnah to say, and say as many times as you could, inshallah ta'ala. And how do you recognize that? From if there's so many people looking at clock tower. So clock tower is directly in front of it. Clock tower is close to that Hajar Aswad, Rukn Yamani corner. So in this tawaf, you do ramal and iltiba, two things you do. The sunnah to do ramal. Ramal is jogging, running in a jogging way, like showing that. And there was a story behind it, a short story. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he, in the year 6 after Hijrah, had a dream about performing Umrah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Fath, لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمين محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون. When that ayah, when Rasulullah got there, he woke up and he said, "Oh people, let us go to Makkah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this, hint in the dream that we will be entering Makkah for Umrah. Let's go." So they all get, about 1400 Sahaba managed to get, 1500 Sahaba managed to walk with Rasulullah to Haram. At Hudaybiyah, this station, and then they sent someone with Sayyidina Uthman. Rasulullah suggested Sayyidina Umar. Sayyidina Umar said, "Ya Rasulullah, you know that I'm harsh and they're not going to be tolerating me very well, and I won't take it easy. If they don't, I'm going to soon." It's better to send Uthman for negotiation because he has got like more sort of calmer outlook. So that's fine. So Uthman went. Uthman went. And then they said, "Uthman, you are so beloved to us, you can perform Umrah, whatever you want to do. But we won't let Muhammad come out and other army, because if they come like this, they've already defeated us in Khandaq a year earlier, and before that, Badr, and the whole we are 50-50, like, we lost some and we lost some. So we can't let that happen, because if we let Muhammad enter with 1400 people, Arabs would say they've conquered us. We've been completely subdued. We can't let that happen." So Rasulullah, so there was a rumor that they held Uthman for 3 days, for some time. They felt maybe Sayyidina Uthman has been martyred. That is why Rasulullah took that bay'ah. This is called the bay'ah Ridwan. Bay'ah to Ridwan. Allah says in the Quran, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became pleased with Anil Mu'mineen, from those believers who took is yubayyi'unaka tahta ash-shajara, when they took the bay'ah with you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, under the tree. That tree is there. It's called Shumaisi, the place. The tree is no more there. They've cut it. During the time of Umar, he actually got removed because people were going there and started doing funny things. So anyway, so when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was made to come the next year, so this time they said, "On Hudaybiyah, all the treaty, okay, finally accepted, no war, nothing. Let's go back." Sahal came. He became Muslim afterwards. So, and then he had this sort of idea with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the treaty of Hudaybiyah. Interesting part of the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyway, they came back. The plan was that you would come next year for 3 days only to perform your Umrah. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took everyone back and came the next year. And when next year they're coming, Makkans were eagerly waiting on the top of the mountain. But the mountain in this area, Kuwaisala and other places, they just got up on that and they're waiting for them. They emptied it, let Muslims come. Now Muslims have come all the way from Medina. It would take about 8 days to walk and to be on camel, stationed here and there. It's not easy journey. And nothing on road, by the way. You can't just have they have limited resources. So they came. As they came, they were waiting because it was quite known. The Yathrib, Medina was called Yathrib. Yathrib means the place where there are sickness, ill. The weather was quite not, good. And Rasulullah then made dua. So they were waiting eagerly to see weak Muslims who left Makkah very strong, and now with the weather of Medina, they must be weak. They would not be able to do as much as they could before. Then we can say, see, you left the place, you're paying the price. So we'll be happy about that. So they stood up on the mountain, waiting eagerly for Muslims to come and perform their Umrah. So Rasulullah said to Sahaba, they are now waiting to see this. Make sure when you enter, you just go like running. So they could see the 8 days worth of journey and they're not even tired. They're just running and doing their tawaf, like not very fast, but a bit of jogging style. And then Rasulullah would say, remember, you do that from Hajar Aswad to all the way. And then when you come, he's so shafiq, so compassionate to Sahaba. So when you come to Rukn Yamani and you are here hiding behind the Kaaba now, they can't see you behind Kaaba. Kaaba is tall, the tall building. So they won't be able to see you now. So anyone who comes here, then rest. Go slow, very slow. Take your time, catch up your breath. And then when you go there, don't again, run. For the first 3 circuits, once they've seen that, the rest of the 4 you do normally. So it becomes sunnah now to do whole 3 circuits with a bit in a jogging way. Now with a lot of traffic, for men only, it'd be difficult for men to do it, but at least do whatever little you could do in your own pace, inshallah. It's called ramal. And istiba is uncovering your shoulder, the right side only. It is only when you start your tawaf, just before that, uncover it, and for all 7 circuits. And after you've completed your tawaf, you just recover it, cover it, and pray covering. Even in the beginning, even in the middle, while you're performing tawaf, adhan time happen, Imam can continue with your tawaf. Wherever the iqamah is started and jama'ah is starting, stop there and then. Join the jama'ah, pray, but while you're doing it, recover your head, your hand, your shoulder. Don't pray like this. That's dislike for prayer to be in that state. Then after you've completed 7 circuit and 8 istilams, and then you just go and find the place. Perform 2 rakat. 2 rakat, ideally, as you do the first 2 rakat, I forgot to mention. Every 2 rakat that you perform, it's sunnah to recite Surah Kafirun, Qul Ya Al-Kafirun, the first one, after Surah Fatiha, and Qul Huwallahu in the second one. Same here. Okay, in the tawaf of in the 2 rakat of ghusl, do the same here, the same thing. Wherever you find, ideally behind Maqam Ibrahim, this is Maqam Ibrahim. That's the gate. Where do you think the Hajar Aswad will be? Here? Yeah, Hajar Aswad is here, and then on the right side, this is the gate of Kaaba. This white bit is called Multazam, and this is Maqam Ibrahim. So if you could pray behind it, amazing. If you can't do that, no problem. Anywhere behind that or anywhere.
Same line or anything?
Doesn't anywhere is fine. If you could behind that, even better. But don't disturb others. Some people try to offer there and obstructing the tawaf. Don't do that. So as you could see here, in this cartoon, this is Hajar Aswad here, and that's the door, and this place is called Multazam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba would put throw themselves actually on this wall, and then connect their chest there, and then try holding onto the gate, like motherly connection there. So Maqam Ibrahim is here. Ibn Iraqi, this Hatim, you don't do tawaf inside it, outside. And inside, if you manage to get, after you've done your tawaf, you get time to be in there and perform 2 rakat there, 4 rakat, however, because that's inside of Kaaba. You get inside the Kaaba. Tawaf is done outside of that. Here you would do ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة Yemeni corner. Okay. And this way would be Safa, and this way would be Zamzam. That's imaginary line. That's line that you could see where the start of Tawaf happened. I could show you in this again. See that green light? At each level, yeah, this is where you follow that imaginary line. This would be this corner, which is Hajar Aswad. This is Rukn Yamani. This is Rukn Shami, and that is Rukn Iraqi, and this is Mizab Rahma. These are the host, the pipe, rain pipe. What we call rain drain. The pipe that is the small, what we call it? Mizab Rahma would be, when you drain the water of rain. Drainage system for the rain. If rain happens, the water collects on the roof of the Kaaba, that is drained there. Yeah. So the drainage system or the drain pipe for or rain pipe, I don't know, rain pipe, something. So after that, it's mustahab to drink Zamzam. Zamzam is for your intention, whatever you intended before you drink Zamzam. Ya Allah, I want to drink it so that I never become thirsty in my life. Ya Allah, I'm drinking it so that I get best memory. Ya Allah, I want to drink it so that I'm not thirsty on the day of judgment when there'll be a lot of thirst with the hot weather on that day. But whatever good intention you can have, try to use it and drink as much as possible. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the difference between us and the munafiqun, they would get 1 or 2 and they'll be full. We take as much as we like. So to the competition, a lot many glasses. My record is 17 glass, 17 cup of Zamzam. Again? No, because it gets digested. The beauty of Zamzam is hardly ever you would drink and you feel like going to the toilet, unless you're elderly. Young people, very easily can drink as much. It's hot weather. It fills. You feel like you don't need to have food for a couple of hours. Every time you drink a couple of hours, mashallah, that's good. That's very good. May Allah bless you. It start with Bismillah, end with Alhamdulillah. And Zamzam should be drunk sitting, actually. It's not sunnah to do standing, although it is permissible and mustahab in that sense that if there was no place to sit, Rasulullah only stood up when there was a lot of mud created with the water falling there. So it's not actually sunnah to do standing, but if someone wants to do it, because Rasulullah did drink standing up at one time, but not all the time, then one can follow that. Hundreds of times he did it sitting. So we ignore that sunnah and just follow this one. One off is fine, but don't make it a point. People do takalluf, out of the way to stand up. Elderly people can't even stand up. You're making them come out of the wheelchair and standing up for Zamzam. That's not takalluf. That doesn't burden people for those certain things. If you could do that, that's always good for water and drinking and eating. But if you could do it, that's fine. But it doesn't have to, like mustahab is preferable. Then you go between sa'i. Sa'i, you have to do it. No problem. Take it time. Take it time. Sa'i is running between Safa and Marwa. Safa and Marwa. So the 2 hillocks, as you know, the story of Sayyidah Hajara, and how she ran between them to get the water. So that's why Allah helped her. Anyway, so that is for men only to run in that patch, which will be between 2 green lights we'll show in a minute. This is after tawaf, after you have 2 rakat done. Now the 2 rakat you only offer if it is not this light time. If you have completed your Umrah, means tawaf, it is after Fajr time, you have done your Fajr, and it's not sunrise yet, you can't do nothing. It's this light time. Likewise, after Asr, until after Maghrib. So you can't do that after Fajr prayer. So just wait and do it afterwards. But you continue with your Sa'i and everything else. So 7 circuits, but it's not a whole circuit. It's from Safa to Marwa is 1, Marwa to Safa is 2. So one way, which is good, not round trip. And starting from Safa, Rasulullah said, Abdu bima bada Allah, I start as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started. And then he said, Safa wal Marwa, which I 1, 2. Then starting from here. Safa is on this end. Safa, Marwa. 3, 4, 5, 6. So both way. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Starting Safa, ending Marwa. Okay. And then those green lights, you just run a little bit in that, a little bit faster, but like this. See that green light?
Yeah.
So that the start and the end would be, you will see another light.
Every time we play,
Both ways, both ways. So, well, it's natural actually. When you're on a hill and you come down, when you're at the top and you're slowly coming down, when you come to the really low part, then you get speed up. It's natural to be speed. So speeding up for that time. It's all flat now, so this is like in a properly what you call tiled floor. So, but you still fulfill the sunnah of Rasul. All the prophets ran on this sunnah of Sayyidah Hajara. The ladies are not supposed to do it because of the hijab and niqab or the body cover. Men are doing. All the prophets are doing, and then they say Islam does not respect women. All the prophets are running for a lady who is not even a prophet, fulfilling her footsteps. This is how much respect we have for our mother, Hajara. Green light. Remember, again, see, you find one or two people, few people covering their shoulder, thinking that we are still in the state of like you perform it tawaf. Waking him up.
better change this one.
No, this was there last time. I did it. So this is Safa and that's Marwa. So you start off, so you go from this side, again counterclockwise, going like this. Again, these two lines. Once you've done that, you just shave your head or trim it. For men, it's better to shave it. More reward, 3 times more reward. Sahaba came and they said, certain people only trimmed it. Yeah, Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, Allah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon those who have shaven their head. Ya Rasulullah, for those who have trimmed as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon those who shaved their head. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for those who have trimmed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon those who have shaven their head 3 times. And 4 times, and those who trimmed this. Which means there's 3 times over blessing in that. And the Quran says, "Muhalliqina ru'usakum bighasir." First, Allah says, "Muhalliqin," because Allah likes them to do the shaving. If you have to do for Umrah, shave it, and then Hajj, whatever little hair. Another Umrah, as many as possible. Just run it.
Your chances of getting the hair back is
No. If anything, might increase it.
you come back bored forever.
Easy. Once you get it done, then done. It's over. These days, fashion to be bored anyway. Not a problem. Women should trim at least an inch. Just not more than that, actually. There's some maximum. They shouldn't go higher than that. There's a roll it, straight line. A quarter of the head hair must be shaven off or trimmed. If you did less than that, some people would take the scissor and a few times. That's not okay. You stay in this. You remain in the state of ihram, and all sewn clothes, or whatever you do, continue to accumulate sin upon you. So don't do that. And then you come out of ihram after doing that. This is called ihlal. You engage in ibadah, whatever day it is. Then you've got a break until 8th of Dhul Hijjah. That could be the day you came, up to you, however long the distance is. That is your time for Hajj. So normally people go a week, 2 weeks early, and then you go 4, 5 days in between, 3, 4 days. You keep doing your nafil tawaf to get yourself ready, but don't overexert yourself, and don't keep engaging yourself in just shopping and whatnot. Rather connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, utilize this time so that inshallah ta'ala, once you are in on the Hajj, which is the ultimate goal. Actual thing is this Hajj, which you have gone there for. So you take, again, you do exactly the same, but this time you would put your ihram and have the intention and perform 2 rakat in haram, if you could. That's Fajr of 8th Dhul Hijjah. It's called Yawm Tarwiyah. 2 rakat in haram. And if you have time, perform 1 quick tawaf as well. If it's difficult, then leave it. And again, have the intention, talbiyah, leave after Fajr to Mina. Now, sometimes they would take you a night before. Don't worry. If they for management reason, they ask you to just sleep in the bus and off you go, you have to go. There's no problem. You can spend your night. In Mina, you have your ihram a night before that. Or that night. Just come in the state of ihram and go to Mina. And you have to, in Mina, you just stay there for 5 prayers. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha of 8 and Fajr of 9. So Fajr in Makkah. Mina, about 3.5 kilometers away. In that, if you have men only or young women that walk, they can walk with you, just walk. That's a beautiful sight and amazing experience to walk. It doesn't take more than 2 hours, less than 2 hours, and very easy, straightforward. It is a nice one. So Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr you have to perform there. No ibadah, nothing ibadah, whatever you want to do. So recite some Quran. Don't waste time in chatting and looking at phone and wasting your time in news and others. People do that, unfortunately. That's just wasting the time. You're preparing for the next day, which is the ultimate day. Again, Sylvia, you carry on as much as possible throughout once you're in the state of ihram of Hajj until you did your stoning. The stoning would happen on the 10th. So you start of 8th, 9th, and 10th. Once you've done the felting of the big column, and as soon as you start doing it, then you stop with talbiyah. Until that time, you have talbiyah as your dhikr. Keep doing it. Again, once it's fard, rest is sunnah, do as much as possible, allowed for men. These are the 10s. They have obviously changed a lot. This is old picture. There must be a lot of new pictures coming up. You can just check it. And so then next morning, you just go to Arafah. Arafah, that is the main part of the Hajj. So which is about 15 kilometers from Mecca. So there you do Dhuhr and Asr. If you perform in Masjid al-Namira, there's a masjid called Masjid al-Namira. If you perform there behind Imam, appointed by the government, appointed by the Khalifa, appointed by Muslim leader, then you just perform 2 rakat of Dhuhr, 2 rakat of Asr. At the same time, the beginning. If you're doing in the tent, you do, according to Hanafi school, you have to do and on your own time. Dhuhr time, Asr time. You do not do combining there. Then whole of this, you've done your Dhuhr Asr together in Masjid Namira or in your tent, your Dhuhr. And you know what? Until Maghrib time, you've got plenty of time. 4, 5, 6 hours of doing what? No ibadah identified there. No special dua. All duas are good. Connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One particular dhikr which every prophet did, or some narration, is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, which is what we know as fourth kalima. Yeah, kalima is called fourth kalima. Beautiful kalima, recite as much as you like. But most important thing is just to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, back to Alastu bi Rabbikum. According to that opinion, that this was the plane where we were kept or put in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah asked us, am I not your Lord? And we will testify to it. So we are confirming that. We are revising ourselves, reminding ourselves of, I was here. This is the place. Come on. Remind myself to keep thinking, what was my covenant? What did I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In response to for Allah's favor of Jannah, I said that I would just fulfill all the commands. That's the deal. So I have to look and understand and practice it. I must fulfill my part of the covenant so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill his part of the covenant, which is Jannah, his pleasure. So that is why you come back as a completely new, freshly born boy or baby or whatever you want to call it. No sin, no blame on you. So La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. You do that until Maghrib. The Maghrib sunset, now the time is over. Dhuhr to Maghrib time. You have this much time to do any dhikr, any dua for anyone, everything. Duas are accepted. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there's no other day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emancipates people from hellfire than the day of Arafah. This is the day, this amazing day, the best day. Shaitan feels the most annihilated, desecrated, disrespected on this day. There's no other day that he feels much, limited or completely, defeated. So that is the day, ultimate day. You have to be there for a whole day.
So
this is Arafah. Arafah.
So you have to stay. You can only leave after sunset.
After sunset. Yes, you can't leave before that. If you did it, there'll be penalty for that. You have to spend whole time there. Now, if you missed it, all of it, then you can come even after Maghrib. You have to be there for some duration to get your Hajj accepted. Even if you, so there's certain people who will be very unwell and sick in the hospital. They can't come. They're on ventilator. So they would just, there's a provision for them. They would, in the ambulance, they just come in the ambulance and go out back to hospital. in order for them, those Hajis, to get their Hajj accepted. This is how much care there is for Hajis. And that's why they have got this, alhamdulillah. All the negativity that they have, but Hajj, alhamdulillah, they have done quite amazing. They still do a lot of good service there. So you should respect and appreciate whatever is due and wherever it is due. Despite all the atrocities and problems we have with them, that's the issue. But Hajj, alhamdulillah, they cater for it, they do it properly, mashallah. So those sick people would come, just go from here to there, and then obviously they have to pay the penalty because they could not spend whole day. But the Hajj is done though. Otherwise, the Hajj is gone. If they're on the ventilator in the hospital, they come home 2-3 weeks later, unwell and whatnot, and it's all free, by the way. The government does not charge anything. For the Haji, they don't charge anything. That's in the hospital. Everything is top notch, mashallah. We'll bless them for that and give them tawfiq to do a lot more good they can do, inshallah, should they focus on akhirah. This is not very big masjid, so not everyone can be accommodated in this masjid. And again, another problem with the way the masjid is, a part of it is outside of Arafah. If you happen to be in that part of Arafah, in the masjid that is out of Arafah, then you are already accumulating your penalties. So don't go. You wouldn't find it difficult. And why bother? Once you've gone through that, you might not find your way back to your tent. But these days it might be a little easier with your smartphone or whatever.
Some people say some of the tents may be outside these days.
There's a lot of issues there. That's why even if you know that your tent is outside, don't go in that tent. Stay in Arafah. Because you can walk inside. There's open place. Stay in the open place in Arafah, within the Arafah boundary. Don't go out of the Arafah boundary.
So people know whether you are in.
It's all marked. It's all said. Nihayatu Arafah. Nihayatu Arafah. All big signs. This is the end of Arafah. Don't go outside.
Your tent is outside.
Just stay inside. Yeah, just stay in someone else's. Just people wouldn't mind. Have some friends. People are just all outside in the open, and they spend some time in the open anyway, even if it's hot. And I normally suggest people to take the slippers off, just for a few minutes, even, just to feel the heat. How Bilal and Khabbab and these Umayyads, they have tolerated this in order to preserve this deen so that it can come to us and these days. And we do not appreciate that. We don't even make dua for them. We don't even have any love and care for them. There are people who would talk against them, Sahaba. They sacrifice their lives for it. But we can't even tolerate this much.
Is that between us and God, you do stand up and do dua?
It's because that's the end time. The time is about to go. After Asr, it's not that hot anyway. So that time should be dedicated. Whole time should be dedicated. Not, unfortunately, even people taking their pictures, going up that mountain, asking, it's not sunnah. If anything, you consider sunnah as bid'ah. People going up, climbing. While you're climbing up, what are you going to do there? That's very nice. The sightseeing. Are you there for sightseeing?
Do you try to stand from Johor to?
That's the whole idea. They can go to us. You can do some nafil prayer, you can recite Quran, you can do all the things. If you're tired, you can rest and sleep if you wanted to. But as the more, the better. Because this is your life. This is the ultimate goal. उसके दामन में जबल रहमत के दामन में खड़े हो सकते हैं उसके नीचे दैट इज सुन्नह रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम स्टेशन डाउन एट द बेस ऊपर चढ़ने की हिमाकत करना बेवकूफी है यू जस्ट वेस्टिंग योर टाइम एंड देन क्रिएटिंग बस वो दुनिया को बताना ना कि वो क्या है फेसबुक पे आएगा कैसे मेरे लाइक्स कितने बनेंगे अल्लाह हिदायत ऊपर से जहाज गुजरता है उसको इशारे भी करते हैं ताकि शायद टीवी में आ जाए तस्वीर मेरा इशारा ही नजर आ जाए कोई यूनिक सी चीज हाथ में ली होती है उससे बातें बताएंगे वो मैं था आपको नजर आया पगला इंसान का बच्चा है जानवर है क्या करने गया बस अल्लाह हिदायत then you go after sunset you do not perform your maghrib you have to make it a qada but delay it until isha time so why because we tell you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we tell you what to do, when to do. We say, don't do it, don't do. Don't come with your logics and ideas and thoughts that I feel like out. If you want to submit, submit properly. We don't want you to cover yourself. People say, oh, we don't cover there, so should we cover? नंगे भी घूमते थे, नंगे नहीं, बगैर एहराम के होते ऐसे चलो, अंदर बाहर कुछ पहने बगैर, पागलपनी की बात है। वहाँ औरतें जहाँ चेहरा नहीं कवर करती, यहाँ भी नहीं करना चाहिए। वहाँ मत टोपी नहीं पहनते, यहाँ भी नहीं पहनना चाहिए। जी, हर जगह कायदा अलग है। वहाँ मगरिब नहीं पड़ती थी, यहाँ भी मत पढ़ो। दिमाग खराब है। बस वो पथराव दिमाग पे हो जाना चाहिए। इतना दिमाग खराब है लोग, अल्लाह सबको हिदायत। So this is Muzdalifah. That night is there's no tent in Muzdalifah, so you just have to go and find your place and spend your night there. You have to spend your night there. Now, sick, unwell people, they can leave after midnight or any time, like night time, to Mina. Uh, but this is one of the best sight, a best scene. If non-Muslim could see that, they will all feel like, mashallah, coming to Islam. Everyone is so exhausted and tired. The whole day standing up after Fajr, you left for Arafat, and you're exhausting, quite exhausting and tiring. You come here and you feel like finding any place to just lie down and sleep. And you find the sheikhs and the richest of the rich and the poorer of the poor next to each other. Wherever they find places, you find 2-3 hours worth of sleep and you feel, wow, I've done it. Amazing. Because next day is even more difficult and tough. It has to be, next day is the most difficult day with regards to activity. Here, it's exhausting because you don't have to do it, you feel it more. In Arafah, you're just standing and doing dua, and you're just sitting and standing and doing all those for long hours. That is why you get more tired. The next day, actually, you do a lot more activity, but you feel only tired when you back to your bed. They feel completely done and drained. So, tough days coming ahead. That's why the Mina day, the first day, you've got 5 prayers and whole 24 hours to rest. Just rest. Don't go here and there and waste your time. So you prepare yourself. So this night, everyone is in the same sheet, open ground, no shelter, nothing under the hopefully amazing mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so wherever you find space, you sleep there. So you have to have your own, handbag, like in a small bag with some personal use stuff, so that you can use there as a sleeping bag, has to be there. And then long queues for toilet as well. Make sure to never, try to minimize that. Sunset, rather than queuing up and talking and finding out when would my bus come and what is happening, where are people going, and searching this, go to toilet, get yourself ready. Don't keep drinking a lot of water. Just rest करो अच्छे तरीके से. And then once you're there, ideally, if you could walk and you have some sense of direction, it's easy with phone. Just go there, walking. Sometimes the bus takes longer. Some people get stuck and they make it to Fajr. So they're very, very late. So quite a few rituals are missed. Collecting pebbles from Muzdalifah is another important aspect, if you could. If they provided you, that's fine, but you can collect some pebbles there. And the best time that we had was in one of those groups that we used to take, was we walked straight after sunset, and there was few young brothers who were keen, mashallah, so we made it. We went there and we came all the way to very close to the border of Mina. So remember, Makkah, you're going, next step is Mina, the next step is Muzdalifah actually, and then next is Arafah. But you go from Mina to Arafah first. Ahead, in the middle, you've got this Muzdalifah. You come back to Muzdalifah. So Muzdalifah and Mina have the same border. They're connected. So if you, from Arafah, you keep walking. Don't just sit wherever you find the first slot or spot. There are many, many spots. If you walk, many places, we filled, many, we open. Keep walking to the end. So this is what we did. Mashallah, people listen. So we managed to station really very close to the border of Mina. So we went there, slept, everybody, foreign soldier, Isha ke namaz, but we did our Maghrib and then Isha, and then you sleep. सब कुछ लगा कुछ चक्कर मत चलाओ तो खाना तो थोड़ा बहुत खा के then sleep. And then we 3-4 hours we did zikr before that, and then we slept. So I said there's 5 surah, the mamula, completed your mamula, and then we slept. 4 hours, good sleep. And then we woke up just before, around Tahajjud time. So did wudu, nice Tahajjud prayer, and then we said, now Yasin, let's gather close to Mina movement, literally close to the moon, because we couldn't find immediately there. So and we stood there, waiting. As soon as the dawn broke, that was the time of Fajr. We moved, started.
Sunset or Fajr?
Fajr.
Sunrise?
Sunrise.
Sunrise.
No. Dawn.
Dawn.
So Sadak.
So you pray Fajr and then.
Exactly. So at dawn, you just have to make dua. They just stand there. The actual wukuf starts with the dawn prayer. You have to be there for at least some time at that time. Women and old people are exempted. They can go if they want to do at night time. You spend that, sun, so Fajr time start, you just make 1 or 2 minutes dua, pray your Fajr, and start walking out. And then you obviously have done all of that. Wukuf will start after dawn, which is wajib. If you left before that, and then you can
do dua standing.
Wukuf means standing is better too. It doesn't have to be. You can be sitting as well, but standing is better. That's a sunnah way. Then you come back to Mina before sunrise. Obviously, if you manage, fine. You leave for Mina. If you don't, you make it quite late. That's up to you. Whatever it takes. Then this day is the day that you have to stone the big jamara. So from Makkah to Mina. Now you're in Mina. To Mina, back to Makkah. Okay, in that direction. So the first one is small, middle, and the big one. So you leave this one, and go to the third column. Okay. Only on 10th of Zulhijjah, which is the Eid day, you only stone the big one, not the small one, not the middle one. And you just do it and then come back. Up to you. So that time when we had enough rest overnight, we were so full of energy. We managed to be there, just it was still like sun had risen, and we just made it there, had our breakfast, and then straight to. So remember, the best time is from the zawal. So we waited for sun to go down, but we started making our way to close to Jamala. So when we rested, we had our breakfast and everything is sorted, we started moving towards, because you need to find, because we have some women as well, so we needed to take cabs. So then we ended up having a big coach, because when we left, everyone started following. In the group, people do follow, who have some, because we had some experience coming frequently. Alhamdulillah, that made it easy. We have a good number of people. We all went to this coach, and that coach took us, alhamdulillah. So we managed to do Rabi after the Zawal. No, on this occasion, we left straight after breakfast to Makkah. Tawaf Ziyarah, because Tawaf Ziyarah could be done anytime from now on 10th Zulhijjah to 12th of Zulhijjah until Asr. So since we were full of energy, we performed our Tawaf Ziyarah. Because you don't have to have that. Because Rabi time would start after at the Zuhr time. So why are you wasting your 4-5 hours there? We left, performed our Tawaf Ziyarah, Sa'i, on our way back, Rabi, back to Mina. Waited for our animals to be slaughtered, got the message in the next 2 hours or so, rested, 1 hour, whatever, shaved the head, took shower, normal clothes, in Mina, just enjoying our normal day, rested, whatever. That was the best way of doing it.
And then you stay in Mina.
That night we spent in Mina. Next day, you have to do all three Jamarat. So as soon as you start the first pebble, you just stop your talbiyah, you do sacrifice of the animal on that day, take a Now, Tawaf Ziyarah could be done anytime, as I said. Doesn't have to be in the morning, as I did, or this time. You could do anytime, next day, afternoon. But first, they tend to be a bit taxing. If you have women with you, maybe perform it the next day. They get very, very afraid. Now, one important thing for women, if you have weak, frail, elderly people, and women likewise, those who do not have enough energy. You know, some women are not used to smoking, especially our aunts and our moms and grandmoms. So they have this leeway because on 10th or 11th or 12th, they have to do tawaf ziyarah plus sa'i of that. And that's too much. Completely training. For men, you get trained fully. So what women can do on 7th, just before coming to Mina, they put their ihram on, do a nafil tawaf, and after that, do sa'i. The Hajj sa'i is performed. A separate wajib doesn't have to be straight after tawaf ziyarah. Could be done with any nafil tawaf. So we suggest them and advise them in the modern situation with a lot of izdiham, that rush, is better that they do their tawaf or sa'i with nafil tawaf. So on that day, men would do their sa'i after the tawaf ziyarah, while women come out of tawaf and they have plenty of time, 1 hour, 1.5 hour to 2 hour rest. They rest. Well, we allowed them to have rest, but you know what? We found out we were all in shock. Anyways, whatever they did, this is typical of women, isn't it? Anyway, but whatever they wanted to do, they needed to might have rested for an hour and then a little bit of shopping. That's fine. And then we found that out afterwards. But anyway, that's okay. Then you walk back or take the taxi or whatever. So then Hijjah, as we said, this is what we've just done. Tawaf ziyarah, tawaf ifada, you do on 10th or 11th or 12th. Again, do the same way. Again, you do the ramal, and
you have to uncover your shoulder and all.
If you are in the state of ihram, which we were until we have animal shaven off. Once you've had your animal done and you've shaven your head, you are in the normal clothes, so you can't uncover, but you can still run them. Yeah. Because this for men would be followed by. So remember, every tawaf that is followed by a sa'i of umrah or hajj, you still do the running.
If your animal sacrifice you out of ihram, now you can normal clothes, you can
normal tawaf. Exactly. And then sa'i afterwards, that's fine. So until you have done this tawaf ziyarah, every restriction, clothing, perfume is lifted, but no conjugal relationship. That is only after tawaf ziyarah. Okay, once you've done your tawaf ziyarah, then yeah, you can have your relationship with your wife. Iftiba and ramal would be done. Obviously, you can't do iftiba unless if you're in the normal clothes, you don't have to do it. But you can still do the ramal running. 2 rakat would be the same way. Sa'i in the same way. No, nothing different there. Then you have to do, the only thing left are 2 things. One is pelting for the next day and the next day. And if you want to follow the sunnah,
so you have to do pelting every day.
So from 10th, you do only big jamara, big column. 11th, you have to do all 3. 12th, you have to do all 3. 13 is optional. That's must, this is optional. Only few people do it, and that's Sunnah of Rasulullah, which has been ignored by majority. There must be a good reason because people want to go to Medina, whatever. That's up to them. Anyway, so this is how it should be. So if you did day 1, which is 7, everyone has to do. Then 21 the next day, 21, 7, 7, 7, 3. So there's 3 columns, 3 columns. So 21, 21, 42 plus 7, 49. So either you have 49 or you have 70. If you did the 3rd day also as well. But that's optional. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. It's a symbolic way. You're not killing anyone, you're not fighting anyone, you're not throwing anything at shaitan, you're not taking your clothes or kapde phad ke, jute utha ke, patthar, rode maar. We're just having a small pebble. It's symbolic. You're disgracing him by lifting your hand and throwing it like this. You say, you are this worthy. I can actually metaphorically just kill you with that. Rather than वो चल में वापस आके इसी को लगेगा शैतान आएगा तू शैतान बड़ा तुझे लगना चाहिए. So don't be crazy about that. बाज़ औक़ात तो खान साहब जूता उठा के लग जाते हैं. छोड़ो नहीं, ऐसी की तैसी आज है. कुछ भी हो सकता है.
शैताना में आ गया. आ गई.
लगे शैतान नहीं.
The slipper.
It's not shaitan. It's a column. Collecting pebbles from there is disliked because they might be rejected ones, so don't use them. Bring your own. Okay, so that's a column quite huge. You could see a lot of space. No trouble there. It's very easy these days. And By the way, they don't allow you all at once now. They've just timed it. In one way is good, another way is bad, because then you're bound to do at a time when they ask you to do, and that might not suit your plan. So, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, so look at that. So this is the column, the three, in all three levels, huge levels, and then they have this rim. The stone must just come here. Doesn't have to even hit the wall. As long as you just put it there, that's fine. Like this. But best way is to at least keep between you and that, about 2 steps distance, like 2-3 yards away, and throw it like Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, hand up. So even the arm should be showing. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, lillahi hamd.
And women do it, and men do it.
Both have to do it. 70. Elderly, frail people, they can appoint you, and you can do first yours and then theirs. And it is you can't do it all in one go. You count it as one. It has to be one separately. Count it properly. You can't miss any. And the رغبا للشيطان رضا للرحمن. That's the dua you can decide. To disgrace shaitan and to please Rahman. That's sunnah. Then once you've done those for the next couple of days, then the only thing left is tawaf wada. One tawaf, which is farewell tawaf. Women, if they're on the special days, happen to be now, they are exempted. Men have to do it. Just do it. If you did one and you still got delayed, you travel to Medina or whatever, do another one. Whatever is the last one becomes the tawaf. You don't have to worry. You can do as many as you like. Some people stop going to Haram.
No, sorry.
No, sorry, just tawaf. Some people go do one and they say, oh, I've done my tawaf. What do I do? I can't go to Haram. They stop going to even prayer. Crazy. Come on, man. देखो हमने तो फेयरवेल कर दिया, अब थोड़ी जा सकते फेयरवेल, मुंह दिखाने के काबिल नहीं। ऐसी कौन सी हरकत की भाई? So keep going, don't you worry. और ज्यादा होशियार बनने की जरूरत नहीं। वहां जरा डेढ़ होशियार जितने लोग हैं ना, उनको लगता है सही चुना और ठीक लगता है। अभी दो किस्सा सुनाता हूँ मैं आपको। तवाफ से बताइए। So once you've done it, same way, inshallah they're done. A lot of dua, righteous deeds, there'll be a lot of patience tested, so make sure you have a lot of patience. Then ziyarat is sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to visit the blessed grave, blessed masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's a lot of reward of praying there. And if one doesn't do that, that's not a shame. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's not my Lord. Come all the way to Makkah and can't come to me. You should do that. And between the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, بيتي ومنبري روضة من رياض الجنة روضة الجنة today, mashallah, offer prayer with the intensity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As you let me come to your Jannah, which is part of Jannah, and it is your promise that you don't take people out of Jannah once they're in Jannah. So let me be khalidina fiha, among those people who will be there forever. Make that dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And visiting different places, graveyard and Masjid al-Qiblatayn and few places, it's good to remind yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would frequent shuhada of Uhud and make dua for them. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would on Saturdays would visit Madinah Quba, and where he would just walk actually most of the time. To perform 2 rakat there is equivalent to performing Umrah, to get the reward of Umrah as well, extra Umrah. So to do that. So again, miqat, you go to Haram, from Haram you go to Mina, from Mina you go to Arafah, Arafah to Muzdalifah, Muzdalifah back to Mina, from there to Haram, back to Mina. So these are a few landmarks. Look at that. So you know the gate, Maqam Ibrahim, Hajar Atim, all straightforward. So knowing all those landmarks would help you so that you do not get lost. So you enter from this gate or that gate, and you ended up. So if you knew the Hajar Aswad is here, you just maybe walk back because you happen to be in front of Maqam Ibrahim, but at the top level. So you didn't realize I'm so many people around. So you went the straight way, and you found out Hajar Aswad was at least 22 minutes if you just had a reverse gear. So that round you haven't got any reward for. You just wasted. So don't exert yourself. Just use the common sense and find out. Ask someone. Some people you will find in the normal clothes, not tawaf is ziyarah sa'i, nafil sa'i. I've done enough tawaf, let me just do sa'i. There's no reward of sa'i, by the way. going and doing sa'i, unless you're doing with the tawaf of Umrah or Hajj, sa'i has no reward for you. And that's not even part of Masjid, it's outside of Masjid. So it's silly. People just do whatever they try to be clever.
It's only for Umrah and Hajj.
Followed by tawaf or of Umrah or Hajj.
Hajj,
Tawaf ziyarah.
Tawaf
Tawaf ziyarah. Or tawaf qudum or tawaf of Umrah. You can do that for that reason. That's fine. But if it's on its own, has no value. As tawaf has, but that doesn't have again, that's as you know, from Miqat to Makkah and then from Muzdalifah. So you go to that's your route from 3 to number 4 here, and then you come back to Muzdalifah. Hence the border. Yeah, they share the border. Now, staying in Mina, many people who follow Hanafi school, they say, since it's sunnah to be in Mina, spending night in Mina, and they've become very dodgy and they just go and spend time in their hotel in Makkah. So they go there, tawaf ziyarat, don't come to me. Sunnah only now. So disrespect sunnah like this is very, very bad. Bad enough. According to some other imam, it is wajib to be there. So don't do that. Rasulullah only performed one hajj, and in that he didn't. He spent his time in Mina. What's the point? Why are you going there then? If you have to, I feel very tired, I can't sleep in Mina, so let me just spend my time in hotel, on phone, having food here and there, don't like the food provided there. What are you there for? You understand why people do not get the barakah of performing hajj? Sara dil nafs ki bas pujari following our nafs. So this is just some summary of that. It's easy. Likewise, hajj summary. Now, jinayah is another important topic. In the next few minutes, we'll finish. Violation. So there are 2 types of violation. Make sure we do not do any jinayah. Jinayah is the violation. So there's a certain thing that you do. So violation that would require you to pay a fidya. Yeah. So these would dictate that you have to pay a fidya. A certain. So the 2 types of jinayah. Jinayah which is done to for the state of haram. Sorry, for the state of ihram. And the second one is being in haram. So jinayat, the violation of the sanctity of haram itself. And jinayat of the sanctity of ihram, in the state of ihram. And jagah ka, ya aapke libas mein, the state ka. Okay, so violation of restriction of ihram, you committed something which is against the ihram. Perfume, phone, clothes, stuff like that. And likewise, you left some of the wajibat of rituals. That's another one. And the sanctity. And it doesn't matter whether you did the violation knowingly, unknowingly, accidentally, forgetfully, in sleep, in whatever. The violation is violation. Okay, penalty remains. The only exception is, the only thing is that you would not be sinful if you did it forgetfully or accidentally, unintentionally. You would not be sinful for that. You still have to pay the penalty. Ticket lag jayega. Pata, ticket lag jayega. Tasveer khich jayegi gaadi. So you can't say that बच्चे रो रहे थे मैं हॉस्पिटल जाना था चल निकल गुना नहीं मिलेगा ओके जानबूझ के करना let's just do it and I would just fulfill the penalty I can afford penalty that's very big sin you're teasing now the Millah Sharia you're teasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yeah I've done it see I can pay the penalty what can you do Allah के ऐसा करना तो कुफर का अंदेशा करना चाहिए so violations it's disclosed as you know and you know about all the covering the head, so shaving the hair, trimming the nails, connecting with your wife using foul language, all of them, sexual language, fighting, all of that. These are all hunting, killing the louse, which people sometimes have lies and they don't do that. Kumardiya. Yeah, they had like the small trees, the small grass, usko khane बैठे artificially they put it there, they planted. That's a different. Naturally grown twigs, trees, plants, they're all protected. You can't touch them throughout your life. Never ever.
Nothing to do with Hajj.
No, that's the sanctity of haram itself. You can't do that. But the one they have, planted there, हम हमारे पाकिस्तान से बहुत सारे सफेदे की तरह एक जमाने में डेवलप हो रहा के जमाने में बाद में भेजे गए थे तो वो लगे हुए तो आप वो खुद लगाए हुए वो लगती खुद रो खुद ही उगने वाले दरख्त यू कांट वाट इट so what are the explanations so that would make it a little easy badana is full cow eh? or full camel that'd be a good 1,000 maybe 1,000 plus or 700 800 maybe 1,000 plus yeah so that's a good penalty so avoid that and only for two situations one is someone had sexual impurity and they performed tawaf in there. They had the wet dream and then they didn't take shower and perform tawaf ziyarah. Guy tayar kar liyo for tawaf ziyarah ke liye. So make sure. Likewise, women in their periods, they did it. Tawaf ziyarah. Okay. So if tawaf ziyarah is done in sexual impurity, major impurity, or haze-related impurity, then they have to pay that penalty. And while in the state of ihram, you've been to your wife in haram, in hotel, wherever you are. Unless that is why it's important to know that you have done your hair cut properly. You will still be in the state of ihram if you haven't done it properly. And unbeknownst to you, get ready for Madana. So you are in the state of ihram. So make sure that always ask. The second, a level below is a dam. Dam is blood. Although it could be used for any blood in Arabic, but when we talk about dinaya, the dam means a sheep or a goat, or 1/7 part of a camel or a cow. So that's what it is. In what situation? If you perfumed whole limb, पूरा ऊपर से नीचे चिपड़ लिया तो कोई नहीं करता था पुराने जमाने में यूज्ड टू ऑयल खुशबू वाला ऑयल लगा दिया कोई गड़बड़ पूरा हाथ थोड़ा सा से नहीं तो बचना चाहिए उससे लेकिन if you अच्छी तरह लिपट लिए दोनों हाथों को तो उसमें खतरा है बात फिर आया कि दिन तो खुशबू वाला सब रखो ही मत बात जाते ही पहले वो निकालो फिर कोई ना कोई एक्सीडेंट ही लगा देता है लोगों को सिले हुए कपड़े पहने हुए होल डे हाफ डे होल डे मीन फ्रॉम सुबह साजक टू मगरिब पता ही नहीं इनको अंडर में पहने पहने एहराम फरमा रहे तो कहते जूते पड़ेंगे इनको तो इतनी बेसिक बात नहीं पता वो ख्याल नहीं रहता बढ़िया नहीं रहता अंदर रहेगी तो लटको लेकिन 12 घंटे के लिए आधा हाफ डे इफ यू बीन इन दैट स्टेट तो टोपी पहने उतारी नहीं ख्याल रहे कि नहीं कवर नहीं होना चाहिए दाढ़ी कटवा ली है पूरे सर को शेविंग करके आ गए या आधे से ज्यादा सर को बाल सारे रिमूव कर दिए किसी भी तरह क्वार्टर ऑफ हेड गया तो गए गेट रेडी फॉर दम एक हाथ के 5 नाखून काट दिए होल 5 गॉन उसके बाद ख्याल आया दम दीजिए उसके बाद बात सही नहीं एक दिन के पूरे दिन की पूरी रमी गायब कर दी ये केस हुआ तो दिस वाज अ वेरी स्मार्ट 5 people after we completed our hajj we came back so after that everything is we were waiting for like for food in the hotel and the next day was our travel to Medina so this group so we've been teaching all of that everything so the group from young boys from UK obviously we had group from there so they came and they were just saying, by the way we got a very good idea said, what was that good idea such an easy way so on the 10th of the 11th of the Hijjah we were quite exhausted because we did our tawaf ziyarah. So we came to perform our Rami on 10th, on 11th, which is the second day of Rami, right after Isha. So quite late, 5 of us. And then we came and as we finished our tawaf, our Rami of 3 of the columns, it was nearly midnight. So we said, let's wait. After midnight, we performed the Rami of 12 as well. We went back and did the Rami for the next day as well. So Alhamdulillah, we did in one go, we managed to do 2. The next day we just rested in Haram and in that hotel and we did whatever shopping. But they didn't say it, that's what I guessed. And they said, and this was the day 14 now, 14th of the I said, mashallah. You all have to pay them. They were just telling to impressed that we got a better idea. You've been exhausting us and tiring us. I said, no, it doesn't follow your 12-hour clock. Midnight doesn't start, the next day doesn't start from midnight, 12 o'clock. It starts after Fajr, for the beginning time. You didn't do, if you told me the next day, we would have sent you back to do it. You have saved 5 goats. चलो 5 goat के पैसे निकालो तो शर्मिंदा हुआ के कस ज्यादा ढेर होशियारी नहीं करनी चाहिए, ज्यादा लामागिरी की जरूरत नहीं. बहुत मुझे खुशी हुई, मैंने इसको खूब सबसे चर्चा की. मैं तो आपको सबको हमें जलील भी करूंगा, होशियारी की करूंगा. तो अब ये हो गया, मजीद वही कंटिन्यू हो रहा. सेव कर लिया तो आप तवाफ ज़ियारत हो गया. डिले करना 12 के बाद तवाफ ज़ियारत करना, you delayed it. अराफात में मगरिब के बाद आप लेट हो गए, पहुंच नहीं पाए, so you just ended up in Arafat after Maghrib. You have to be, if you don't do it, the Hajj is invalid. Hajj हुआ ही नहीं, फिर तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. But if you came after Maghrib, then you have to pay penalty. कोई excuse नहीं था, you were not already frail, you left Muzdalifa before Fajr time, 5 minutes before. छुट्टी निकलो. You did not do wudu and perform tawaf ziyarah, then you have to pay a penalty. दम हो गया. तवाफ कुदूम और अदर तवाफ, एनी अदर तवाफ आपने किया, एनी तवाफ, तवाफ वदा और तवाफ कुदूम, मीनिंग उम्रा तवाफ और तवाफ नॉट नफली तवाफ, इफ यू डिड विद मेजर इंप्योरिटी, तब भी तवाफ दम वाजिब हो जाएगा. You missed 4 or more rounds of tawaf wada. You did not do the order. You did not follow the order of Pelting pass. Remember that? Again, if you have excuse to cut or shave or do, then you have a choice. You still have to pay the penalty, but that could be dam, that could be 13.2 kg of wheat or the money for 3-day fasting. If you're allowed to do that because you have an excuse. So certain people get disease, the skin condition, they have to shave their head, they can't carry on, or change their clothes, or they have to wear silk or whatever, gold or whatever, just to save them as an ilaj treatment. And then the third level is to do the sadaqah. Sadaqah is half sa', fidya amount, same amount, the 2.2 kg of wheat. Okay, so if you perfume your not whole limb but less than whole limb, up to here. 5 नहीं 4 होंगे, 3 होंगे, दोनों की मिला के इस तरह से कुछ करके. आधे दिन से कम, less than half day you wore the sewn clothes. You cover your coat of the head with some topi or whatever, but less than half of the day. So many times what happens when people are sleeping, they may cover their head. But you're sleeping with many people, so someone should be able to help you take it off and remind each other of doing it. That's why you're together. And likewise, that's why it is not advisable to share the bedroom with your wife, so you do not accidentally go into any of those troubles related to your wife. Many people, we want double bedroom only for our husband and wife. Let them separate. Men here, it could be next to, so then you just behave. Like insan ban ke raho. Someone else's hair cut diye, nail cut diye, tab bhi sadqa dena padega. In the state of ihram, obviously. Tawaf qudum and tawaf wada in the manner of purity. Miss 3 or, not 4, but 3 people of tawaf wada. 5, but in a different places you have to do sa'. Okay, you did miss few pebbles. So for each pebble, you have to pay the same amount. Right? Rather than 21 for one day, 7, 7, 7, 21. You did 18, 19. So 2 or 3 miss. For each miss, you have to do the sa'. So there are very few situations where one would end up paying a dam. Remember, only silly thing that happened. The commonest thing is people just using the toilet soap with perfume in it. Avoid that. And rest is inshallah easy. Do not try to play smart. Ask ulama for the advice and best course of action. Even if you have some idea, check it first. Again, final thing is about women. So they must have a mahram with them. Otherwise, it'll be sinful. Even if Saudis, they've allowed you to come without mahram, but still not okay. You can't do it. The same, elderly doesn't matter. We're going in a group, doesn't matter. You're not fulfilling the command of Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You're fulfilling your own desires and whims. That's crazy. It is haram for a widow or a divorced woman to perform it during iddah. In iddah, you're performing Hajj and Umrah. Are you crazy? Dimaag bilkul out of Japan. And they normal clothes, but they have to just cover not cover their face. They should cover, like I do, have the face cover without touching the cloth. They're allowed generally to wear anything, any ornament. They should not recite Talbiyah aloud. They should not perform Ramal and Istiwa. Men is walking slowly and women are. Everything is lopsided. बल्कि इनका नहीं भागे ना आप भी भागे मेरे साथ मुझे भागने को किसने कहा बे अल्लाह हिदायत huge crowd but don't go close to Hajar Aswad because bumping into people is bad. Don't run between two. Especially that's so whichever situation you are in, if they happen to can they take pills before that? Yes, they can, but it's not generally recommended. But it's okay just to stop their bleeding, to stop their menses. That's perfectly fine. But if it happens, then it doesn't cause any harm to you. Say that Aisha radiallahu anha had it, and she started crying, but she didn't know the ruling yet. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the wives are here, 9 of them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought everyone because he only performed one Hajj, and he had all them. He was the only one to. None of them had children, by the way. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's father wasn't there, so it was very difficult for them to find someone. It was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's responsibility. He took all his wives, all 9 of them were with him. So everyone would be able to do it. I won't be able to do it. That's not that it would make ways for you. But do everything other than tawaf. You can't enter masjid, so you can't perform tawaf. Do sa'i, Hajj time, go to Muzdalifah, Mina, Arafat, everywhere. Do everything as people are doing. And then wait for your getting cured. And then do your tawaf. Tawaf is ziyarah. Go to Masjid Aisha. That's Masjid Aisha. It's called Masjid Aisha because Aisha had it. She went with the brother of the Rahman and then took the ihram and then came performed the tawaf and sa'i, whatever. So you can do that, but sometimes it started little late, flight time. Everyone is going to Medina. What do we do? So in that sense, in that state, they perform that in the state of purity, and then they have to give Hadana. If they can't wait, so they would do that. They can do that, but that's because they have to come out of ihram. This is better, easier compared to staying in the state of ihram and coming back and whole year waiting for the next year. If tawaf ziyarah is delayed though, so there's no doubt for that. Normally, if you delay it by 12, Maghrib of 12, after that, then you have to pay double. For them, it's okay. They can stay and then do it. If while they're having they're doing tawaf in the period start, they must leave straight away. Because sa'i is done after tawaf. There's no point doing sa'i without tawaf, so just leave it. They've done their tawaf, and now the period started, they can continue with their sa'i because sa'i is outside of the masjid and it is recommended but not fard or wajib to be in the state of purity for sa'i. They can take. It's disliked, but they can take it. Up to them. And that would suffice, hopefully. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah. Yes, may Allah make it easy. Any question? And you can ask them as well if you have any question. May Allah make it easy. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله